come, He'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene. You are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby, pure and small.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Welcome to Peace TV. Today we are going to continue our discussion about the same topic, which is about how to make our teaching effective. In the past, we talked about 6 or 7 subtopics that fall under the same theme, and we ended with some how to engage as many students as possible. We said that one way of engaging students is by making or thinking of different activities and different games that would make the majority of the students involved are engaged in the lesson. Today we are going to move to another topic, which is a good mix between, as we mentioned before, a good mix between group work and individual work or independent work. Today we think of a good mix between critical or open question and closed question. In other words, this falls under something is known as questioning strategy. What is the strategy of the teacher? And this is something you remember when I ask you what are the things that you put in the lesson plan. The questioning strategy. If you have any book, look at the examples, the questions that come at the end of the lesson, and see what type of questions. This would help you to evaluate the book. Today in the morning I had a group of books, I was looking into them, and I've seen all the questions. They are information questions. They are memory-based questions. They are closed questions. You see what I'm saying? When did this happen? Did this happen or not? Who did that? What happened in year this and this and this? All these question words tell you about the nature of the questions in the lesson. These questions are okay, but they are straightforward. They don't need anybody who is smart to answer them. You just see when, and you look at the dates, and any date, and you focus and you understand. This is a very simple thing, right? And all of them depend on the memory of the person, how strong his memory or her memory is. This is okay, but they should not be the whole questions. There should be other type of questions that would make the student think. We call them open questions. They don't have one answer. They don't have one single answer. When I say that, when were you born? You tell me 1973, right? This one single answer. All students have the same answer, right? But if I say to you, what will happen if the lights here go out? Do you expect the answer will be the same from everyone? Definitely no, right? Okay, imagine yourself in a studio much bigger than this. What will happen? What is the result of having this? Can you compare this situation with this situation? Again, you don't get the same answers, right? Because we think differently. This is something very important. And when we say that a good mix or a good balance between these two, again, balance, good balance does not mean 50-50, right? It does not mean 50-50. It may mean 15% here closed questions, and the rest of the questions are open questions. It depends on what you want from the students. So I think having this balance is something very essential in our teaching. Why is this? If we keep asking and focusing on closed questions, we will have the result appearing in closed brains. You will have people, yes, they don't have opportunity to think. Let's say that you are cooking something, right? And the question comes, what happens if you put ananas to the cooking that you are cooking? Will the taste change? Will your husband accept it? Will your children take it easily? Will you see what I'm saying? And this is again advice for anyone who cooks or does something. Try to experiment. You've been doing this all your lifetime. Try to change it one time. What if you change the amount of macaroni here or the amount of rice here, and you increase the amount of this and this? Try to experiment. These questions that we are saying are the ones who are going to make you creative, or to make your students creative. Any comment? Do you do this in your class? And tell me the percentage. Be sincere. Yeah, we are not in a court, but be sincere. I tell you the truth, when we were young, most of the students that we used to have in class and we used to do as teachers were closed. And a teacher would come, or an inspector would come, a visitor would come to the school, and I ask the students and they respond, and he thinks that this is a wonderful class. And the reality is, it's not a wonderful class. It's not an amazing class. It's not even a realistic class, because we focus on only information. And information itself does not tell you much. You need to analyze this information. And we will talk about this much when you have this information, the results of the students, for example, in front of you. You look at them, they're just grades and numbers. They don't tell you anything. They tell you when you analyze them. When you say, hey, the students who got 80% or more are 75% of the students in the class. So you have to analyze them to come to this, right? It tells you that 20% of the students got less than 50, right? So you have to make this analysis. The grades themselves don't tell you anything, because it's just information, just data. You need to analyze this data. Yes, any comment? Somebody was about to comment here. Yes, we'll get one here first. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
It's a very good idea of the open-ended questions, but me as a teacher in class, I face difficulty wherein there are just few children who are able to answer such questions.
Okay.
If the majority of the class does not comprehend or cannot answer that challenging question, how can we bring up those children to that level? Or how can it be a help to them?
Okay. If there is gap in your question, you have to lower your question. So to fill this gap between the closed and the open one. So you shouldn't, I'll give you an example now. I'll ask you to make two examples. One question about critical thinking, right? Open question that is easy to answer, and another one is more complex to answer. I'll ask you to do this, to say that it's not just one. No, you can put them in different levels. You can do that. You fill the gaps. And I remember you can move from here to here in 3 steps, or you can move from here to here in 5 steps, or in 10 steps, depending on the quality of the students that you have. If you try in 3 steps and they reach there in 3 steps, wonderful. If they don't reach there, so try the 5 steps, try the 7 steps, try the 9 steps until you reach there, right? And in this way, they will improve. Once they get used to this, they will improve. Okay, this is, I think, a very good comment. Yes.
Sheikh, the open question and closed question, is it something related to knowledge-based questions and application-based questions?
It's not that. It's related to memory questions and thinking questions. Question that requires thinking. Right. If I ask how many students in the class, the answer would be the same. It doesn't need a lot of thinking. It needs somebody who knows how to count, and he would get the answer, right? It doesn't need thinking, okay? Okay, if I ask you, how many students can this room hold, right? It's the same question that began with how many, right? But the first how many has one answer. The second how many, it needs some people to think. So now a person would say, okay, I can move this desk here, and I put another desk here, so I can add 2 people here on the same desk, and instead of 1, he starts to think, right? Thinking process now. The first one didn't need him to think. You see what I'm saying? Although both of them begin with the same beginning. How many? Right? Is this clear? Good.
With thinking question, the problem is, how do I grade them? How do I give them marks? And will it be accepted by parents?
Okay, very good. Not everything should be accepted by parents. This is a question that I'm always confronted with. Teachers tell me that parents are not pleased with what we are doing. They shouldn't be pleased, because you are more expert than them. You go to a doctor, right? In the Middle East, you go to a doctor and tell the doctor, give me this medicine and give me this medicine. That's what's happening in the Middle East, by the way. You go to America and ask a person, if you tell the doctor, give me this medicine, he will kick you out from his clinic, which is natural, right? Because he's the one to know, to tell you that you take this and you take this. Here, as a teacher, You are the doctor. You are the one to say that we are going to do this and we are going to do this. It's not the parents who will be pleased with this or not. Inshallah, we'll continue after we take a break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Little baby breathing so calm.
Osama El Shami.
How can we get our children ready for the month of Ramadan? Sharing the stories of what the Muslims have been through in the past, in particular the first generation.
Nazir Irfan Al Mujahid.
Make this Ramadan very special to them.
Your taqwa, your righteousness, your goodness.
I want you to tell me about your experiences from the very first Ramadan that you experienced as a new Muslim.
The first Ramadan I experienced was amazing.
Umar Debua.
When I embraced Islam, it was like I was prepared. You know, Allah prepared me for something that I had no idea. It was an amazing experience. Beautiful, beautiful.
My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, welcome to our program, The Straight Path.
Build your character on the path of the Quran and Sunnah in The Straight Path. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. and repeat telecast at 1 a.m. Saudi Arabia on Peace TV. The night of decree is better than 1,000 months. The benefits of worship and the vigil in the night of power.
Ramadan, which is the topic of the show. Do you have any advice for our viewers?
Asad Ahmad.
Especially in the blessed month of Ramadan.
The Ramadan is the reminder of rectifying our behavior.
Dr. Ali Shaban.
Ramadan is a unique opportunity for every Muslim.
And the reasons behind this revelation and its power emphasized as the human heart transcends towards godly glory.
If you apply Ramadan to the rest of the year,
Tariq Ali.
Surely you are going to be much better in all fields, all aspects.
And the gratitude of the soul reaches out to worship the Almighty One on this esteemed night.
Just to stick more and more of the time to the Holy Quran.
Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim.
This is my advice to all my Muslim brothers.
Let's strive to seek the night of power and its bliss in Blessed Nights, next on Peace TV.
Little baby breathing so calm.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. We will continue our discussion about a good mix between closed and open questions. But before we continue, I got some papers for you because I remembered when we were talking about exercises for reading, some, exercises and different types of activities in reading. I remembered one class. I want to focus on what I'm saying very well. I visited one class and the teacher was teaching reading, and students had a book of 300 pages. And so the teacher would say, student number 12 and student number 25, open page 205. And they would open page 205 and they would start reading together at the same time, loudly. And then after they finished the page, we would ask student number 14 and student number 8, please do the same thing. Open a different page, and they did the same thing. They were reading parallel. None of them was delayed behind the other. They finished the page exactly on the same. And she said, would you select any student by yourself? I said, yes, I would. So I selected student number 2 and number 13. She said, another one. And they did a wonderful job. Now, what is the message she was trying to tell me? This question is for you. And when I did that, I took myself and I was evaluating the teacher, and I left the room. I didn't stay in it longer than this. What is the message she was trying to give me? See, this is the critical thinking question. What is the message? Open question. Definitely I can get different answers from you, but what is the real message she was trying to give me? Yes.
Perhaps I feel that she wanted to know, when you were there sitting and observing the lesson, whether you would pick out the best and not so good, one student from both the categories, one who's really good and one who's not all that good.
Okay.
So that's why she made that suggestion, to see which ones would you select based on your analysis of what you had heard.
All of them did the same performance.
that they used to practice reading, and it showed that when they were reading together also that they were perfect.
They were?
Perfect.
Perfect. This is the message she was trying to tell me. And that's why I didn't talk to her. I got the message and I left the classroom. The message that she was trying to tell me that, have you ever seen a better level than what you see by your eye? All students read on the same level. Not a single one of them makes a mistake. That means all of them are 100%. I don't need to see their grade. I've seen something that I've never seen in my life. I got the message very quickly, so I didn't ask her any question, and I left the class. Do you see what I'm saying? This tells me that she, as the sister explained, they got adequate training that they went to be in the same level. It's very difficult to find a place like this. It means that the teacher did a wonderful job. That when any two students can read at the same time, I will try any of you to read right now. Get a microphone and get a microphone. Yes, one is here and one is here. You read at the same time. I don't want to see gaps in your reading. Can we try this? I'm just trying to prove how difficult it is. Okay. Okay, good. Or at least you didn't take enough training. You have the paper now. Okay? The two sisters would read. Read the first paragraph. Okay? I'll begin with 3, 3, 2, 1. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Go.
Muslims perform salah 5 times a day. These 5 salahs fall perfectly within the transitional periods of the day: dawn, noon, afternoon, evening, and night. This distribution helps organize the busy daily life and makes the relationship with the Creator continuous with major focal points during the day.
Thank you. Some miss, huh? You see? Okay. So I think after training you will get it. After training. But it tells me, I was so pleased to see the students are doing this. They were in grade 11, yeah. So again, training makes perfect, and this is a very good exercise. I hope you write it, and I hope you do it in your class. And you can move from 2 students to 3 students, and everybody, when a parent comes to you, say that you're not doing a good job, let the parent see what you're doing, okay? So my students are not making mistakes and reading at the same pace, right? Right? So this is something very good. I wanted to share it with you. Jazakumullahu khair.
Excuse me, brother.
Yes?
I just beg to differ that in case I'm a language teacher and we are doing some, for example, a drama scene, and we are doing the reading. Now, the kind of style a different child will read, a dialogue will differ.
Yeah.
So how will they read it the same manner?
Yeah, but this is again the same thing. You can apply this in hadith. You can apply this when they are reading a book of tafsir. You see what I'm saying? You can apply it in many aspects. So it's, as I said, that you take the thing and you try to apply it even with little modification. But it shows a high level of expertise. Perfection. Perfection. I said perfect, yeah. Of course, the teacher for me was an outstanding teacher, because she is the one who made the students like this. It's not their parents, it's she who did this. Okay. This is an example. I hope you benefit from this. Yeah, some of the experiences I share with you, not directly from my experience, from other people's experience, but we need to share the experience. This is the good practices that we were talking about. Good, let's go back to our topic, which is the good balance between mixed and closed question. The question I asked you, so I combined this. What is the message that you can get from here is an open question. Everybody can think, what is the message? And I'm quite sure we had different messages in our brains, right? So this is a kind of question that how it depends on the analysis. Yeah, what I am trying to do here. So let everybody express himself. Even the student who is weak can say, Mamdouh, you're trying to make the lesson active. Good, that's fine. In open questions, now, there is nothing really wrong and nothing really correct 100%. There are many answers. That's why I go back to the question that she raised, which is that how can I grade this? She raised this question, how can I grade this? If I were you, anyone who gave an answer that makes sense would get the answer correct. Anyone that makes a response that makes sense, right? So he gets the highest number, highest grade, right? Because you don't have a fixed answer. Yes, I was expecting you to say that she's trying to give you a message that there is nothing better than this. The sister said it with different words Still, she got exactly what I was expecting. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean that different answers, different grades. Here, different answers, all of them can take, yes, the same grade. Okay, I hope you are clear about this. So it's no longer difficult to answer this. You can give me, although somebody would say that this is not the same answer, but I got the same grade. That's exactly what we want. Different answers, but the same grade, the same mark. Good. Any other comment about this before we ask you to apply this in your subject?
One comment about having a good balance between open questions and closed questions is, for example, we find in the class, this is concerning differentiation. There are some students who are not very good at answering the open-ended questions, and they would leave the questions altogether in the paper. So to increase the level of attempt at that question, what I would do is combine a question which has closed aspect to it as well as an open aspect to it, so that the ones who are good, they will attempt the entire question and answer both the aspects, whereas the ones who are weak, because they've answered the closed-ended part of it, they will get a little bit push to go forward and at least attempt the open-ended part of it, so that it brings about improvement in their the open-ended question part of it.
It's okay, but what I'm trying to say that not every question or not every discussion you should grade the students. Now we are in a normal lesson now. I'm not giving you marks, but this is how you develop them. Let's say that you do it 5 times a week like this without grading them, and number 6, right, you start grading them. See what I'm saying? So you are just training them to think, right? This is a very good answer. This is an amazing answer. This is wonderful. This is great, right? You encourage them to think. Okay, what do you say about his comment? Do you agree with him or don't you agree with him? If they agree with him, right, and he says, why do you agree with him? And he gives you a right answer, a correct answer, so he's thinking. We need to train them how to think. Am I clear for that? And it's not every time you evaluate them. No, not necessarily you evaluate them. But you will notice after some time, every time that when you ask an open-ended question, or an open question, that it's this student who is answering. So when you finish the class or in the break, you take your book of evaluation and you write something beside the student, so to know that he's doing fine, right? Take notes all the time in this book, so it would give you clear idea about the students, right? And this one who was never used to give an answer before, but now he's doing that, so he improved. He started moving from closed question to, right, thinking question. Focus on him later on, and you will find that he's improving. Good. Another comment? If I were you, I would have 2 million comments. If you don't have any comment, now it's time to think of examples, 2 examples. One is a very difficult, high critical thinking question, and one is a very low critical thinking question. And you have to think of the subject matter, the grade, and the 2 questions. We will take this assignment, and you can do them even in the break. The example that I gave you right now is a very high thinking. What is the message he is trying to give? I'll give you an example, simple example. When during the 1973 war between the Arabs and Israel, yes, Kissinger was worried about the use of oil. If the Arabs are going to use the oil as a weapon in the war. So he visited Saudi Arabia. Kissinger was Kissinger. He was the foreign minister at that time. So he visited King Faisal at that time. King Faisal received him in a huge tent, and he presented to him dates and milk and very simple food. Then Kissinger didn't stay long. He got the message from King Faisal. What was the message King Faisal was trying to give to Kissinger? Yes?
The message that King Faisal was trying to give to Kissinger was that we don't require the money that we get from your oil. We can survive.
From your oil or my oil?
From the oil that we are selling to you. We can live in the way that we are living, and if we stop it, you who are going to be in trouble, not us.
Okay. He said, listen, because of course he knew that the West can destroy the oil. He said that we got used to this life. We can live in tents, we can eat dates, and we can eat milk. We don't care about this. In other words, he's saying that we are going to use the oil as a weapon, whether you like it or not. So this was the message. So Kissinger understood the message very clearly. Okay, you got it? So this is an example to let you think. This is, of course, high order thinking. Okay? Good. Jazakumullah khair. This is the end of this episode, and I hope, inshallah, in the coming episode, we continue talking about the same topic. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Little baby, pure and small, he created